You're listening to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. I'm Allison Boyle, aka She Dreams of Alpine, and this is the show that's dedicated to all the adventurous spirits out there who have either been transformed by the outdoors or are interested in what it looks like to step into a new, adventurous, and courageous kind of identity in their life. It doesn't matter what your background is in the outdoors, what age you're starting at, or where you grew up. If you're curious about the outdoors and using adventure as a way to reinvent yourself, you're in the right place. I'll be sharing all kinds of personal adventure stories, lessons I've learned from the mountains, teaching what I know about the outdoors and leadership, and interviewing some amazing adventurous women all along the way. I've been coaching women on becoming safe, confident, and self-sufficient backpackers and leaders of their own adventurous lives since 2018, and I know exactly what big fears and self-doubts can pop up along the way. I have so much to share with you, so let's dive in. Hello everyone, it's Allison, and before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to just kind of give a quick announcement. So I'm taking a little summer break from the podcast. I've got some very exciting personal adventures planned for the summer and also some really epic client trips that are coming up on the horizon. So this pause is really just to give me and my team a little space to breathe and reset and focus in other areas of our business right now. But I didn't want to leave you hanging with nothing to listen to over the summer. So I am going to be sharing something really special. I'm going to be sharing a behind the scenes audio series from my hike on the John Muir Trail. So my husband Michael and I set out to thru-hike the John Muir Trail back in 2020. So that is a while ago now. We were aiming to finish it in 22 days, but due to some massive wildfires and a full national forest closure, we had to bail early. This is something we definitely didn't expect. So this series, for some reason, we decided to record like a daily podcast back then. This was before I even had the podcast. But this series is going to be showing you a real, raw, behind the scenes audio that we recorded on the trail when we were out there doing the John Muir Trail as we dealt with all the highs, the lows, the relationship dynamics, and also the huge disappointment of getting kicked off the trail early in 2020, and then our eventual comeback in 2021 to finish it. So if you have ever dreamed of hiking the JMT or you just love a good adventure story, you are going to love these sort of like bite-sized episodes that are coming up of our kind of behind the scenes trail diary. This is something that I've never released before. So I really think you're going to enjoy this, and it will kind of like fill that, adventure itch that you might be getting while we're taking a little break from our normal episodes. And this series will run through about mid-August, and then we will be back with fresh episodes on the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. If you're listening to this kind of midway in the series, be sure to go back and listen to previous episodes. But at the end of the day, I hope you enjoy this and that it's a nice little kind of thing to get you excited about your own adventures and maybe even eventually pursuing the John Muir Trail one day. All right, let's dive in. Okay, hello, you guys. We're back for our second day on the John Muir Trail. Actually, We're not technically on the John Muir Trail yet, but our John Muir Trail journey.
I thought we were.
Oh, I guess we did enter
You're
today.
Confusing
but
me.
not at the beginning of the day.
Do you even know where we are? Also, why are you whispering?
Because I don't want to be too loud.
I know. Where are we at?
Oh, well, we're currently at Guitar Lake at the base of Mount Whitney, getting ready to summit Mount Whitney, which is the true terminus of the John Muir Trail. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we just came from Rock Creek Ford, which is a really cool campsite.
Yep.
We really liked it.
It was really quiet. There's only two of us.
Yeah.
And there's a creek right by. I mean, we already told you guys about it, but this is by far the busiest backcountry campsite I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I knew that. Guitar Lake is everybody's exiting the JMT, or people are doing sections of the JMT or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, everybody's evenly spaced out and stuff, but it's a cool area though. It's just all granite. Everything is granite.
I guess moral of the story is we're not talking quite as loud because there's neighbors. So
that's the reasoning. We're spread out, but not that spread out.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people are getting up at midnight, which Makes no sense.
Which is like very soon from now.
Yeah.
It's only 7:30.
Yeah. Luckily, our other neighbors are still making a fuzz over there, so I don't feel as guilty.
But anyways, so today, let's talk about today.
Let's dissect it. So it was probably the longest, shorter day.
We had,
so
okay,
far.
I guess to recap, we had about a 9 to 10-ish mile day and around 2,800 to 3,000 feet of gain is what we estimate. I paused my GPS recording and I forgot to turn it back on at one point. So I'm a little fuzzy on those stats, but it's something around there. And I think because we knew it was going to be like shorter, we just like took a lot more stops, and we spent like an hour chatting with people like on the trail.
Yeah, we spent a while talking to one particular group of 2, but one of the guys. And then at lunch, I stopped and fished a little bit.
Yeah, we took a long lunch. Oh, another reason it took us longer is because Michael left his trekking poles at the top of Guyot Pass.
Yeah.
And we were about a half mile back down. Which
luckily you noticed.
Yes.
I wasn't making noise with my sticks anymore because I don't know how long it would have taken me to notice.
So this is day 2, and we've already almost lost 2 things of Michael's. I think he's just trying to shed pack weight so that his pack gets lighter.
I'm trying to go ultralight. There's no doubt about
Day
it.
1, lens cap, didn't recover that one. Day 2,
we'll see though.
You lost your trekking poles.
It could be at the van when we get back.
It might.
But that's just my hope.
Day 2 trekking poles.
Yeah, but luckily you noticed I had a backtrack about a mile total.
And I just sat on a rock and I read for a while.
And luckily it was at the bottom. We had just come over. I left them at the top of a pass, and then we had just come down it. And then, so I had to go uphill. But I was thinking about it. If we would have gone up a pass and I left them at the bottom, I would have had to do uphill twice. So I only had to do uphill once and down twice. So that's not bad. That's how I look at it, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. Today was pretty chill. It was, but like also still challenging. Like I was still, by the end of the day, like I felt really tired and my back was kind of hurting by the end of the day.
Mine was too. And it was just, from having the pack on for so long. And
it was a lot of more gain than we had yesterday.
Yeah, but also I think we were on the trail for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And, that just wears on your back, no matter how comfortable your pack is. So, but it wasn't unbearable. It was just towards the end, like I had no pain on our first day, which typically that would be a time for your body to hurt because it's not used to it. But the second day, because of just the overall long day.
Also, the smoke was sort of bad at the beginning of the day, I feel like.
Yeah.
And we were like from Rock Creek to Crabtree Meadows, there was no water fill up places. So we filled up before we left camp, and then we had to hike all the way to Crabtree, which was about 5-6 miles, and we only had maybe 1.5 liters each.
Yeah.
I feel like, and so I was pretty thirsty going up that pass.
Yeah, it was a little thirsty, but but Crabtree Meadow is beautiful. I would have loved to stay there. What was your favorite part of the hike?
My favorite part of the hike was just taking a lunch break at that. I think it was like the creek right before Crabtree Meadows.
So
and there was like a little nice lunch spot, and you were fishing, and we were just like, it was sunny, and
we saw a bunch of horses.
I was like filtering water, and we made marinated chickpeas.
Yeah.
Which was really good. It felt like the healthiest thing I've probably ever eaten backpacking.
It definitely
but
felt
you
healthy.
felt good eating it.
But we ate it with plantain chips.
I guess like we should talk about like this morning we had for breakfast we had cowboy campin' cheese grits. It's one of the backcountry foodie recipes, and it was dense, and Michael and I think could have just hiked the whole day off of those,
on those grits.
cheese grits, because we kept like stopping for breaks, and we're like, "Are you hungry?" And he's like, "No, I'm not hungry."
Yeah, they were pretty dense. They had grits, cheese, eggs, crystallized eggs. They had all the water, and for some reason, that is probably the most calorically dense meal we have. And
I feel like it had to be like 1,000 calories.
Probably.
Oh, and
because it's like one of the medium bags, like half full.
Yeah.
Ziploc bags.
We also had PCT trail mix, which was really good. It's pecans, yogurt pretzels, chocolate covered coffee beans, dried cranberries, and we added almond M&Ms.
Yeah.
That's not in the original recipe, but we added that.
That was delish.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Super good. Although I didn't eat my cranberries.
Yeah, Michael acted like a little 4-year-old and picked out his cranberries.
I ate some of them.
Else.
I ate some of them, but I just, there's a little too much in there. Dried fruit.
I loved it. Not my favorite, but second meal plan was very delicious. And for dinner we had what? Lemon Parmesan couscous, which I actually really liked as well.
Yeah.
So far.
Yours had couscous, mine had tabbouleh.
Yeah, but we ran out of couscous. But you're going to get couscous eventually.
No, they're both good. I mean, I haven't tasted the couscous. I'm sure I'll like it, but mine was good as well.
Props to you, Aaron. All the recipes have been amazing so far. So if you're listening.
So back to the favorite part of the trail. Mine was that too, because that all the way up to Crabtree Meadows.
Yeah.
Because you hike along this awesome big creek for a good part of like 2 or 3 miles, and just right there next to it, and filled with pools, and it wasn't like a little creek, it was like a big one, and you just got the sound of the water, and you can see all the fish in there. You can see how much trout is in there. That
reminds me, should we tell them? I mean, I don't really know how trail names usually get dubbed, but we know you're not supposed to name yourself. But we came up with Michael's trail name, and Michael has already come up with a trail name for me a long time ago.
Long ago.
Do you want to explain mine first, and then I'll explain yours?
Well, honestly, I'll explain it, but I don't know whose idea it was.
No, you
was it mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the first one to call me that.
I wasn't 100%, but I thought it was.
100% it was you.
So Allison,
why would I call myself that?
Anybody who's hiked with Allison will know that, once every mile, her ankles will just give out. Her ankles will just explode, and she'll buckle her.
That sounds so bad.
And her ankle, and she'll roll her ankle. And so
I don't roll my ankle. It just bends.
No, you roll it. You don't.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens, but you roll your.
I just have
people
really
do that.
Flexible ankles.
I mean, I do that, but you do it a lot. Or you trip somehow.
I trip, but I don't fall.
You've fallen once.
No, I don't fall.
One time.
Yeah, once out of many times.
So, anyways, it reminded me of, when mammals are born, especially horses and lambs and goats, and giraffes, and they don't know how to stand on their twiggy legs. They just shake, and well, that's what Allison reminds me of. So I dubbed her baby lamb legs.
Yeah.
Baby lamb for short. And we've been dating 6 years, and that was a long time ago. That was within the first 1 or 2 years of us dating. So you've had that one's too good to pass up.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with a new name.
And I don't even know if JMT trail names are a thing. I know for sure it's PCT, but
yeah, I don't know if you're supposed to get a new one.
We're just starting on the JMT, so we'll find out.
Yeah, but I picked Michael's name today, and I knew it had to be something with trout, because he's a total fish nerd lately. Even though this fishing is something new to his life lately, every time we see water, he's like, "Oh, hold on, babe, I'm gonna go check it out." And he he goes and walks along the stream while I'm on the trail, and then he'll yell out "I see one! I see a golden trout!"
Okay.
And so
I don't sound like
it's a little.
It's you're hiking with a 10-year-old.
I am like with 10-year-old.
Probably.
That
but
picks out his cranberries. But anyways,
there's something about clear water that excites me. Just being able to see down the bottom of a pool of water.
Well, let me finish explaining.
Go ahead.
So also, in Mammoth, where we've been living the last few months before we did this hike, Michael has had the worst luck with fishing. Even though he's tried really hard, he's lost more lures than he's actually caught fish.
Oh, like 100%.
Yeah.
Lures 1,000, fish 0.
We came onto the JMT, him bringing his fishing pole, kind of being like, well, this could be dead weight and we might not catch anything. But he caught something the first we
talked about it
first
already.
cast yesterday, and it was with a black ant lure fly.
Black
ant fly. So I've dubbed Michael Black Ant.
Yeah, she was very excited for me. I was excited. I was
he keeps
foretold
talking about how hot the black ants are. He's like, they love the black ants. The black ants are hot right now.
And I lost it too.
Yeah.
And I lost it because I'm still learning how to use the rod, and I might have whipped the rod so hard that like the ant exploded at the tip of it. I don't know. I'm making that up.
You have one more black ant.
I have one more. So black ant was like I had bought all these flies that I read about somebody who'd done the JMT and took a fishing pole, and I already had that. And last minute I went to the shop to buy some line, and the guy at the store recommended the black ants at last minute. And like I said, I already bought all the ones I wanted, so I just bought a couple. So I only have one black ant left, mind you. The other one's been working. My Elk caddis. Anyways, long story short,
so now he's black ant.
I'm now a black ant. I like that. I dig it.
We were talking about how after the JMT we should get a tattoo of a baby lamb holding a black ant's hand.
Or riding it.
Or riding the ant riding the lamb
into
with
the
Whitney in
sunset.
the background.
Into the sunset.
Yeah.
That one that one probably didn't need to be shared.
Yeah, people are like, well,
this is probably not gonna happen, but
it should actually.
It should.
I feel like that would be pretty funny. That would be a conversation starter.
It would. And so what was your least favorite part of the day then? Real quick.
Favorite? Oh, I think it was going. What?
I was gonna say one for you because you're probably not gonna remember it, but go ahead.
I was gonna say going up Guyot Pass. Right? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Guyot Pass. I was just so thirsty.
Yeah, you were drinking.
I wanted to drink all of my water, but I knew we still had like 3 miles left when we got to the top of the pass, so I was trying to conserve it. And it was so dusty, and I had a moment where I had to turn some music on. Like, we have mostly just been hiking in quiet and like talking to each other, but like I had to turn on some music to like make it up the pass because I had to get my brain off of thinking I'm thirsty and my back hurts.
Yeah. I'll mention 2 least favorite moments. One was when we were eating lunch at that beautiful spot, beautiful meadow with this beautiful river running through it. And we had lunch right where you cross the river or the big creek. And we were sitting down eating our lunch, and we saw the horses, because there's people that pack their stuff. They hire people to pack their whatever belongings onto horses, and they bring it to them, or they bring the people and horses. It's kind of bizarre, but it was cool seeing all the horses. And this particular group was just 2 people carrying gear, so there wasn't any tourists or whatever. And they stop in the middle of the crossing the creek. They stop with all their horses, and we were running low on water, and that was the first water source in a while. So we were planning on filling up our water right after we ate lunch, and the horses just start releasing themselves all over the creek where we were gonna fill up our water. So that was a little bit gross. We had to go upstream a little bit.
Yeah, but the water was flowing like really fast. So it was
flowing, but it was just funny.
Yeah.
And something mentally about that. So But you go upstream, where they didn't do that. So, and then we always have great interactions on the trail, I feel like, but today we came across the older guy.
Oh, wait. I just thought you were going to say the ranger.
Oh, you could tell that story. But we came across, as we're cleaning up our camp, putting our tent away. We're just finished, and we were about to hit the trail, and this guy comes up and starts talking to us. Very nice guy. But then there's that awkward, where you're, hiking together, and then we're trying to have a conversation with him. But then he's behind us, and he's hard of hearing. So then he's I think he pretended he needs to put sunscreen on so that we could keep going. But then we came across him again. Sometimes you get stuck in this limbo of running into people. That's never happened before, really, where it was
I didn't think
weird.
that was that weird.
I didn't think so either. I mean, for a while I was just thinking he was going to catch up to us because you weren't feeling too hot.
What?
You were
I was
dehydrated.
Fine. You had to stop. He did pass us because you had to stop and turn around and go get your
Eventually,
poles
yeah.
that
Eventually.
you left at the top of the pass.
Yeah. But tell him about the ranger real quick.
Oh, yeah. I just thought it was funny because, I feel like every time when I think about rangers, I think about, people who want to stop and talk to you. And I always think, they want to ask you, where's your permit? Oh, where are you hiking? Typical ranger crap. And
Yeah, they're usually friendly.
yeah,
even if they're
friendly.
asking
yeah,
you for
not
permits.
Friendly. But, you imagine them being, really talkative and chatty. But, we came across the ranger today, and I saw her when I was waiting for you, and I saw her coming. I was like, she didn't say anything to me, and she got closer and closer, and I was like, well, I'll say something, I guess. And I was like, hi, and she was like, oh, hi, and I was like, I'm just here waiting for my partner. He left his poles at the top of the pass. She was like, oh, that sucks. And she just kept hiking.
Walking, never stopped.
And then she ran into you too, right? And you were like, she didn't say anything to you.
No, I was like, I had to initiate the hello, and she said hello back. And then I was like, I forgot my poles at the top of the pass. She's like, yeah, so I heard. And she just kept walking. I was like, and I was laughing like an idiot as I was walking past her, oh.
And then we saw her again on the way.
Two other times.
She crossed back, and we just learned our lesson. We just didn't say anything this time.
It was weird, though. We saw her 3 different times,
yeah,
going
she was in
marathoning
2
different directions with 2 different packs.
That was just a funny encounter.
Maybe she got in trouble and they just have her doing laps out there.
No. But anyways, I'm trying to think, did anything else monumental happen today?
Monumental?
I was telling Michael that I've done this part of this portion of what we did today. I think it was 2014. I did a backpacking trip from Onion Valley to Whitney Portal. So it's a section hike of the JMT. And it was back when I was still pretty new to backpacking. And it was one of the driest years in California. And we did that trip in June. And so it was really cold. But I was telling Michael that I remember this area fondly as the longest 2 miles of my life from Crabtree up to Guitar Lake.
Yeah.
So, and I was just remembering it was just kind of neat being back in this place that I have these memories of being with some of my friends long time ago.
Yeah, you were
6 years ago.
Giving the play-by-play. It did feel pretty long. It wasn't honestly, I was expecting it was going to be longer because when I saw Whitney in the distance for the first time, I was like, that thing's really far. And I thought for some reason we were going to be at least halfway up.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be. I think are technically halfway up.
I mean, I think it's only 5 miles to.
Yeah, but I just thought we would be more closer. And so I was like, I'm ready to hike more. But all of a sudden we were here at the, what is this, Guitar Lake?
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess one other thing, you got an update, your first message from a friend on your InReach Mini.
Yeah, shout out to Ashima. She is keeping us updated on the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent us a message telling us that the SQF complex is still 0% contained. But, they're not doing any closures of this area yet. So and it's felt fine so far. I mean,
the smoke keeps rolling in around.
And we're just going
3
further
p.m.
north each day. So
today got smoky, not as smoky as yesterday. There's no ash falling today. But we started seeing clouds through the smoke, vaguely. So I don't know. I got kind of excited, sort of, because that could either mean rain or lightning, but it's not likely gonna rain or anything like that. Was that not interesting?
No.
All right.
I saw clouds today.
It's been a long day, sort of.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go to bed soon and
wake up at 5 a.m.
Ideally wake up at 5 a.m. and then head off to do Whitney and come back. And we're still debating on whether we'll just come back to base camp. Tomorrow will be nice because we won't have to carry our heavy packs, at least most of the day.
Yeah, if we decide to go on to the next spot.
We may decide to come back and pack up and go down to Crabtree tomorrow when we get back from Whitney, but we haven't decided.
Timberline Lake looked pretty sweet. I kind of want to stop there.
Though.
I want to fish though. Guitar Lake doesn't look very fish friendly.
There's going to be lots of great fishing places.
Timberline looked pretty good though.
Well, we'll see. But anyways, I think that's a wrap for day 2.
Day 2, yeah.
So
we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey, I wanted to thank you real quick for tuning into the show and listening all the way to the end. If you love this episode and you want deeper support in becoming a safe, confident, and self-sufficient hiker and backpacker, then head over to shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist to learn more about our Backpacking Badass coaching program, where I teach you absolutely everything you need to know to be self-reliant on the trails and stop waiting around on others for the adventure invite. So I'd love to help you more in your journey of stepping into your adventurous identity, and that program is the absolute best place for us to start working together. So again, that's shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist, and you can learn all about it there. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you get to spend some time outside this week, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new episode. Bye.